Welcome back to another video, proudly brought to you by the EVE Online Tournament, which it may or may not have consumed all my time. As a result, this report is late, I've missed about 1 trillion ISK in battles, and my timing is impeccable. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. Welcome to another peaceful day in New Eden. At least, that's what the writers want you to think, right before I tell you who fed. Because in this universe, peace never lasts more than 5 minutes. In one corner, Sigma stumbles into the initiative. In the other, Goons poke at Horde until they crawl out of their nests. Somewhere in the middle, salvagers circle like vultures, and structures once again play the role of the galaxy's favorite punching bag. This is Warlock Industries, where every fight is epic, the reporting is kind of accurate, and the cinematics are dialed up just enough to distract you from the low killboard amount. The first fleet Warlock Industries jumped in with was Sigma's, charging headlong at the initiative. Navy issues squared up against Ferox's, with Goons sprinkled in somewhere, though honestly no one's quite sure how any of it lined up. Depending on who you ask, it was a tie, a loss, or a moral victory, which usually means the initiative technically won. What we do know is that the field ended the way most battles do, scattered with wrecks drifting in space for salvagers to fight over like it was free dinner. Then later on we joined Goons, rolling out with what they called a new doctrine. To the untrained eye, it looked like an experiment. To the trained eye, it looked more like someone found an old stockpile of ships collecting dust and decided, yeah, let's burn these first. They formed their battleships, took scenic routes through lowsec, and started bashing multiple structures, while Horde took their sweet time brushing off their own cobwebs. So while the Goons waited, let's roll the cinematic of their grand tour. And finally, Horde decided to show up. By the time they finished stretching and rubbing the sleep out of their eyes, Goons had already smacked a handful of structures and put half of them on timers. When the fight actually started, it wasn't a glorious brawl. It was long-range potshots, 2 fleets politely agreeing not to get within arm's reach. In the end, Goons lost twice the value in ships, Horde claimed the so-called victory, and the battlefield was left littered with wrecks. But let's be honest, kill boards don't matter as much as they say they do. The real winners are the pilots who had fun feeding, fighting, or watching it all explode. And as a bonus, here's Sigma versus Initiative, once again brawling it out like a high school beef in the cafeteria.